Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Hey there, everybody, it's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards and get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. And speaking of friends, it's Friday Night Lights with my friends, Willie Walls and the great Swame Odell Blocker. Willie, you had a pretty great lineup the other night. You almost took it down. What'd you finish, third in that tournament?
Yeah, I was number 3 in that tournament. Yep.
You're saying it like it's a bad thing.
Yeah, no, but to the last moment when the guy got the touchdown and it took me out of the place, you know, when Brown got the touchdown for Cincinnati, and that knocked me out.
You were right there. And you, Swami, my friend, you had a really great lineup if it wasn't for Mr. Harrison Jr., who let you down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Doc. Yeah, Mr. Harrison, we're going to talk. I already done text his dad, and I just want to sit down. That's it.
All right, let's take a look at this.
I saw him doing laps. I said, I thought you had a hurt hamstring. You said, no, that bastard in the uniform is making me run.
That's probably true. All right, let's take a look at this week, guys. This is a strange week to me because there's some very nice games. Like last week, there felt like there were only 2 games, and it turns out that the Dallas side of that game was the ultimate trap. I fell right into that trap. Detroit was the best team on the slate by far. But let's break it down. So first, Tennessee against Buffalo, guys. Could there be a worse quarterback than Will Levis? But I know he's dirt cheap. Josh Allen has James Cook is going to play. Cooper's probably going to play a little bit. Willie, I want no part of this game. Maybe Tony Pollard, but even then, I'm holding my nose. What do you think?
Yeah, besides Pollard, because the backup is out, that's the only interest I have in this whole game.
Yeah, Swami, would you play Pollard on FanDuel?
I have some interest in Pollard on both sites. It's probably more so kind of matchup and price, but that offense is so bad it's hard to even depend on him. He like I said, he's the only bright spot in that offense. But until Levis is better, until that passing game improves some, it feels like he'll be a risky play because you only have to focus on him. And then on the Buffalo side of it, with them kind of getting everybody back, you expect that they'll probably still do something, but it's hard to say what Levis or that offense will be able to do. So.
Yeah. It's a game I just don't want to be in. All right, let's talk about this next game. Big one here. Detroit goes to Minnesota. Game's a 50.5 spot. Very close game. Vegas is calling it 1.5-point game. So there's going to be, 27, 24, something like that. Swami, I feel like I don't know whether to stack this game or play pieces of this game, but I know I need something in this game. Where are you?
No, I agree. I think I'm not mad at a stack. I think if somebody can find a stack that they can make work, again, you could play it either way. You could play both Addison, Jefferson, come back with St. Brown, right? That's going to be a lot of your cap. But you could try something like that, and you can also try it even on the other side, maybe Williams, St. Brown, and then coming back with Jefferson. So, and I think you'll see a lot of folks trying that. It just feels expensive, and it may be easier to just try to pick the piece that you want. If that's Addison coming back against Williams, if that's St. Brown coming back against Jefferson, you got to have a piece of this game for sure, but you'll have to figure out the piece based on game theory.
Willie, I woke up this morning wanting Darnold, Jefferson, and St. Brown. But if I do that, it is, like Swami said, it is going to cost me pretty much everything. Is it worth it? What are you doing?
The two that I'm going to have one of the receivers from the game in each lineup that I have, and there are going to be a couple of times when I go with a lower quarterback that I'm going to have both, because I think both of them are in play. They both for the last 2 games got 62 and 68 games, between those two, and a lot of people is not going to want to go to St. Brown, but they don't realize that this is not the time for the running backs in this game. The running backs are not in play this game. You need to go to the air this time. That's how you're going to beat Detroit. That's how you're going to beat Minnesota. I know Minnesota got that tough. They do got a tough defense, but When they don't put pressure on you, you see when Mr. Golf has been in flames the last 3 games. You don't put pressure on him, he has really balled out the last 3 games. So I think that the 2 people that I have the most interest in are the 2 of the highest price people, and I'm going to have at least one of those guys in each one of my lineup, that I do it in. And be some lineups that I'll have both of them in the same lineup.
What do you think the projection of ownership will be on Jefferson and St. Brown, guys? I mean, are we looking at 12%, 10%? Like, what do you think the number is, Willie?
I think St. Brown, I don't think it's going to be much at all. It's going to be less than 10%. Jefferson was the one that's going to be the highest, is going to be the higher owned guy because the way you beat Detroit is through the pass, So I think he will be. And then when everybody thinks about Detroit, what do they think about? They think about the running backs. Who dominated against Dallas last week? It was the running backs. They didn't need a receiver. So this game is going to be the exact opposite. And some people are going to be holding on to what they saw last week. It's going to be a totally different game. You have to win this game right here in the air. And when you play in the air, what happens? That means the game is going to be longer. You know what I mean? The game is going to be a longer game because it's going to be incomplete passes, and it's going to be a longer game instead of you dominating on the run game. So this is how you got to play this game. It's going to be one through the air.
Swami, I think I want to be on both receivers. I'll pay up, and I'll trust that I can find a cheaper guy somewhere. Not going to be easy. It's never easy. But I don't want to miss out. Willie always has a couple. I got a guy you don't even have. I have a guy you haven't even thought of, Willie.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
You haven't thought about it. Trust me, you haven't thought about this guy.
Hey, you haven't thought about the one I got.
Doc, last week he thought about Turpin.
No, I didn't. No. I said the Xavier Sanders. He had 10 points. He was good at 2,600 for what's his name for
Jatavian was good.
Yeah. So don't.
Yeah, but you had Ferguson. You loved Ferguson.
When Ferguson wasn't the balls to the walls call, sir. Ferguson was assassin. Okay, he was ass. He was terrible.
Permar says he's got a guy for us. All right, let's go to this next game here, Swami. The Eagles and Giants. Now, look, this game, if I don't go to the other 2 expensive receivers, you got A.J. Brown and Malik Neighbors in this game. You got Hurts. You got the Saquon Barkley revenge narrative. There's a lot of fantasy goodness, but if there's so much goodness, why is the point total only 43.5 points?
I'll tell you why, Doc. One, the way the Eagles looked last week, they struggled a little bit against Cleveland. They finally kind of got there. I would say it was a war of attrition, though, right? But they finally got there, and it was really probably A.J. Brown. I think Smith was okay, but that was basically it. And so I think the Giants last year they played them pretty tough, and it was a much better Eagles team last year. Giants are coming off a couple of good defensive games. They've also played them tough last year. So I think they think this is going to be more of a scrap. But even with that, I think Neighbors and Brown have excellent matchups, and I'm definitely liking the revenge narrative. I just don't know if I like the price. It's pretty expensive, but Neighbors seem like he's poised to go nuts, and so is Brown.
We're laughing at Willie playing the piano, Swami, while you're speaking. Who's going to play?
What the guy said, I play the piano.
I would think that Saquon is going to score. He's going to score, right? They're going to make sure he has the opportunity. But is he going to put up a number, Swami, that's going to kill us by not having him?
I could see a game theory where you would want the same back and forth we described from St. Brown and Jefferson. I think this is the one that could potentially be a lower owned combo that has that type of upside. So I'm not mad at it, but I do agree with you that it does feel like, it could go a couple of different directions. One, the revenge factor where Saquon is out there just playing out his mind. He goes nuts, and they don't have to throw it as much to Neighbors, or Neighbors comes back, doesn't get the kind of target share he was getting when he went out, a couple of balls going to some of the other guys. So I could see some of that, but right now, if you're talking about from a ceiling perspective, GPP take down a tournament, Doc, I like what you're saying. Neighbors and Brown are very interesting.
You know, Willie, they said Singletary's back. They said that Tracy deserves to play. They even mentioned Eric Gray is going to play. Swame said something interesting. Maybe Neighbors doesn't get as many targets now since Slayton and Wandale are more involved. Are you playing anything in this game or are you passing?
I'm going to be honest with you. It's a pass for me. You know, I think we got better spots. And these are expensive rascals. It's not like you're getting them for 5,300. They are priced up. And, you know, like I said, I know Saquon, I agree with, I know Saquon, I think I'm going to have one lineup that has Saquon just on a revenge factor, just one, in case that bastard go, at least I have him in one lineup. But mostly he's going to be a fade, and I'm not, and the Giants defense actually has been pretty good, you know, and they are a team I got an interest in playing, you know, when I'm playing certain lineups, because Hurst, he still makes mistakes. You know, he's turnover prone. So I think you know, the Giants defense, and I agree with what the caller said, that they're very sneaky. I do like the Giants defense on the slate.
All right, Cincinnati plays Cleveland. Could Cleveland potentially be, just work with me, people. Nick Chubb is back. You're going to hand him the ball 20 times. You're going to avoid Deshaun Watson throwing because you need to. But there are cheap receivers there in Cleveland, whether it's Elijah Moore or Tillman. There's some guys on the cheap, and we're going to need some cheap guys here. Willie, on the other side, you got Joe Burrow throwing at Higgins and Chase. Cleveland plays a lot of man coverage. You know what Chase and Higgins do against man coverage. Are you in on this one?
I'm not in, but those two have phenomenal matchups against Cleveland. Because what are they Cleveland? They play man to man, and they can beat the Sox down. So I wouldn't be mad at a double side. I mean, this is not going to be my primary game, but I think this is a interesting, being different type of a stack, like that like the Green Bay game was in the last slate. So these would be the two guys where you can get either one of these receivers are definitely in play, because Cleveland plays stupid. They play stupid defense to me. So as long as they continue to play that man-to-man, they're going to continue to get beat. And I mean, this would not be my main stack, but I'm not mad at either one of the receivers, to be honest with you.
Now, Swami, Permar99 said something very interesting here. Cincinnati plays slow unless they're pushed. If you push Joe Burrow, they'll push with you. But I don't think Cleveland's a team that's pushing here. This kind of feels like I'm going to let other people have it, and if I lose, I'm going to lose.
Cleveland is pushing, Doc, but it's a number two, and so it smells, and it's not something that you would absolutely want to play. The real problem here, even on the other side, this is one of those AFC North division games. I know what we saw in the Baltimore game, but even the last couple, I think Chase has been held under 10 fantasy points, and 4 of the last 5. I think Higgins, who's been the better of the two in the games against Cleveland, and he's still somewhere around 15 fantasy points. Because Cleveland is so bad, you could only hope that it's a low-scoring game that involves the defense, and that Nick Chubb has run the ball 25 times for them to even have a shot.
Right.
And I don't know if I want to get behind it. I agree with Willie that the matchups are great, and you could absolutely see where they could, light them up. But it's something about that playing down thing that you just described, Doc, that I see it as well. And I'm really cautious about playing them for those two reasons. And the other one, the one that I feel like is most important, is the fact that Cleveland just doesn't bring it. And I got no confidence that it won't be just Chase Brown out there running the whole second.
Right. I think Chase Brown's in a good spot. I want to talk about Permar. I think Njoku is in play. I'm not playing him. I do think Heat's right. For Tillman is $3,000. If I'm paying up for receivers, if I'm paying up for Neighbors and Jefferson, I'm going to need a cheap guy. I mean, he's definitely in the mix. All right, let's talk about Houston against Green Bay. Now, here's a question. CJ Stroud on the road in the cold. Going to be a little chilly there in the north there, Swami. Do you think that this Texans offense, which has been very hot, continues its hot streak? On the other side, you can't really run on Houston, but you can throw on Houston. Is this a game that we get Jordan Love in? What's your thoughts?
First of all, both of these quarterbacks are playing at a high level. So anytime you get that, you could see where this game will be fun to watch and where they'll have a chance to go over. Obviously, you wish you had Collins in there, but you see what happened as soon as Mixon got back into the lineup. Dell and Schultz have been involved as well. So you think it's going to be some points scored. Now, is it something that we could probably nail down from a fantasy perspective? I don't know. Green Bay's kind of tough as well. This feels like a scrap. If I had to pick somebody in this game, it would be Jordan Love. But I don't know if I feel like it's better spots. Both of these, this feel like this going to be a scrap too. But a scrap with points, Walls. But I feel like this is going to be a scrap as well.
Willie, Vegas has Jordan Love throwing 2 touchdowns. They only have C.J. Stroud throwing 1. Does that change your mind about this game in any way, shape, or form?
I mean, the only one I will have interest is in the running back for Houston. That's it. That's my only interest in this game. And I think I got respect, for both players. And then Houston's playing outside. It's a different track when they play outside and playing indoors. It's a whole different ball game. And look, Mixon, I mean, he looks good. He looks good, and you can run on Green Bay. So that's the one thing. So that's the guy I will have the most interest in this game. And the rest of it, I'm just going to let everybody else chase it.
Now, people have made comments. A few people have said about Houston's defense missing guys. That's big. Does that put Jacobs in play a little bit? Does that just mean that Green Bay is going to light him up, Willie? Or are you still going to hold the line and say,
honestly, listen, now you could do one thing. You could play Love on one side, and then you could play the running back for Houston on the other side, and you can just do it that way. That will make it an interesting stack because you're not worrying about who's he throwing it to. Because listen, one thing they do is they mix it up.
Right.
It's not. It could be somebody one weekend and somebody the next week. So I don't mind that stack. That would be an interesting way to attack the game. That's the only way I would want to attack this game. It's playing that guy. I'm not interested. I'm definitely not interested in use quarterback on the road outside.
Yeah, me either. All right, let's get to this next one. And this is a big game here, guys. Seattle and Atlanta, 51 points. Feels like a 27-24 type of game. That's what they're calling it. Willie, this game feels like it's percolating, right? It's bubbling. Is it bubbling over and we need it? Or is it going to be just to the top and maybe it's not the game winner?
It could go either way on this thing because one thing you do know is, you couldn't run on Seattle. Seattle's run defense is putrid. They are horrible. Mason would have had a huge game if he did not get hurt, in that game. The one thing that Seattle gives up too, they give up on the pass. They give up pass plays too. I mean, you look at Purdy, number 1, 24.1. Then you got the Giants quarterback, was the number 1 quarterback when they played them too. Then who was the other guy? It was Golf. That was perfect in the game. It was 18 for 18 in that game. I mean, Seattle, you could beat them down in either way. I can't trust Robinson because I'm tired. I'm tired, boss. That daggone Algier just taking 48%. I'm tired of that, boss. Come on, man. Can I just get there? I mean, he had 25 points, but it could have been 36 points. But this daggone Algier, Smile Gier guy, I mean, God, dog. I mean, but I do have to say, I do like one receiver at 6,900 for Atlanta. I like him a lot. And you got an interesting dynamic because the kind of coverage that Atlanta plays, Metcalf eats up. So Metcalf is definitely playing this game. So this game definitely has some fantasy goodness, but I don't think it's going to be what everybody else is thinking that this is the must-have game on this slate. I think you got pieces. I think it's pieces from each game that you could play.
Swami, there's a lot of goodness here, like Willie said. I can make an argument for Kenneth Walker, who somebody per Mar said top usage and getting catches out of the backfield.
Yeah.
Geno feels empty, but he still throws for 280 yards and a couple of touchdowns. DK, as Willie said, is in a great spot. I don't think JSN and Lockett are, but Fant is sneaky. And on the other side, Mooney at home against Seattle's defense, which seems to be sleepwalking. But then you got Algier. You got so much. This feels like the game that I may have to have, but I'm afraid to have it.
This is the game you had to have. I disagree with Walls there on that. Let me tell you why. First, I just saw somebody say in the chat, which ranked the Green Bay receivers. I would tell them it's still probably Reed, then maybe Dobbs, Watson, in some order like that. But I think Reed is still probably the guy you want to have. He'll get most of the targets. Now, back to our regularly scheduled program. As far as this game between Atlanta and Seattle, Walls couldn't be more wrong. There's so much to like in the game. That's what he doesn't like. Him, like a lot of folks, they need to know exactly where it's going. Well, if you know exactly where it's going, you don't need experts like Willie Walls. And anybody could do it then. The reason why you need experts like Willie Walls, because you don't know exactly where it's going. So what do I mean, Doc? I mean, I like Drake London in this game. He's a lock for me. DK Metcalf, I wouldn't be mad. I saw somebody said 150 and 2 touchdowns in the chat. Not mad at that at all. I think he's in a great spot. I think also, guess who's been sneaking? That's who's been showing up to practice here lately. I guess he said, hold on, NG. Hold on. Let them know that, hey, I'm still around here. They said there's still a third wide receiver in Seattle. Watch out for me, too, because I want a few balls. I want to get a few plays in here as well. His price has kind of come back down. He became a little bit more of a man of interest. And then you also got Kyle Pitts. I think he'll be involved. I know that sometimes we're concerned with the split, but eventually they got to get into the end zone. I know Cousins has kind of been happy running it in. It's the reason why he hasn't had big games except for the 500-point game. His fantasy points been kind of down. And Smith, because Walker's been running it in. But imagine if they don't get vultured in a week like this, where everybody is expecting it to go to the backs, where now it's play action pass, and they have to throw the ball, and we get a little bit of a track meet. I think this is going to be a track meet. I want pieces of this game in every lineup.
All right, my concern here, guys, I'm just giving you some Vegas numbers, okay? So Vegas numbers receiving-wise, Mooney is under 53.5. Drake London over 74. Pitts over 39. Ray slightly under 42.5. DK over 66. JSN under 50. Tyler Lockett under 45. When I say under, I'm saying that the odds are going the other way. So basically, DK and Drake are the guys that Vegas is saying should produce more than the others.
And so am I. Me and Vegas are buddies.
Yeah, but they are, like I said, I hear you, and I hear you talk, Miser. I got you. I mean, I understand.
London is a lock.
I told you I like London. You know, I like London. But see, the thing about Seattle is you could beat them both ways. That's what I don't like. You know, you could beat them in the run and the pass. So this might be the game that B.J. Robinson want to troll every damn body and have 3 touchdowns in this game, and I wouldn't be surprised because their run defense is that bad. You know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
You know what, guys? I honestly think you're both right. Willie is right. I don't know who's scoring, but Swami, you're right. If I knew who was scoring, then this game would be easy. The problem is you want concentrate. That's why teams who have the Vikings are easy. Darnold, Jefferson, Addison. There you go. I know who to play. I'm not playing Aaron Jones. I'm not playing Ty Chandler. I got 3 guys. Makes my life easy. I wake up this morning. I know who to go with. Falcons, it's like, all right, Mooney. You know, I don't know. That's the problem. If I'm right, I'm your rich friend. If I'm wrong, I'm screwed.
But Doc, we're getting good prices, I think, on the receivers in this game. So it's not as much of a risk as in some of the other games, and that's why I like it.
Steve asks, would you pair London, Pitts, and Kirk?
I mean, you can pair them. I mean, I'm not excited about Pitts, but I think London. I mean, listen, London is one of the best plays on the slate. So let's, we're not doing that. And Kirk, he's in for a bounce back. I think this is one of those games where what's that little ladder betting that you have, where 260, 265. You can play a little ladder on Kirk and betting in this thing.
I like that.
I love that, and I think it's the kind that people is going a little bit under the radar, and it can go off. Anytime you can get folks who can take down a tournament, mind you, Pitts is overdue for a touchdown. Cousins should have had a much bigger game, except he's been just letting these guys run it in after he's done all the dirty work. But I like this game a lot.
All right, Miami against Indianapolis. I'm going to give you a couple of plays here, guys. The first play I'm going to give you could be Anthony Richardson, right? Look, when Anthony Richardson plays, Swame, if he gets 60 yards rushing and a rushing touchdown, you're at 12. If he has 200 yards passing, I'm at 22. If he throws for a touchdown, I'm at 26. Boom. And this guy stinks. No, maybe let's be honest. He's better in fantasy than in real life. You also have no Jonathan Taylor. Do you play Sermon? Do you play this kid Goodson on the cheap? On the other side, there's Tyreek, there's Waddle, Jonnu Smith. We always play tight ends against the Colts. And then you have Devon Chan who's back, and Chan looks like he's in a really good spot. Swami, what are you thinking here?
I think Chan is the only one that is a man of interest. I wouldn't be mad at Smith, but he's more of maybe a value play. Doc, this game stinks. I want to do my Inspector Todd impersonation. It's so many things not to like about it. I would want to get away from this game as fast as possible. I will say that, man, no, 18 carries for 30 yards. No, we can't do nothing with Sermon. Goodson is probably better. I can't do nothing with this game. If it was anybody who I feel like could get busy and deliver fantasy goodness, is Chain. I cannot get with the rest of this, Doc. If Richardson, Doc, he's been over 10 fantasy points one time this year.
All right, I'm with you.
Let Willie. I can't. These his guys.
I'm going to disagree on this. I got a slight interest in this game, and this is the reason why. I think this is going to smell. I hear it, but I'm going to have him in a few lineups. Tyler Huntley is a man of interest for me at 5,100, and the reason. Listen,
no, sorry.
yes. Everybody's gonna go with Dalton. I hear you. I get it. That's why it's GPP. I'm telling you, and I'm gonna tell you who's gonna get what deep. What do the Colts give up? They give up deep balls, right? They give up deep balls. They're indoors. Tyreek Hill is 7,300. He had 9 targets in his last game. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody's looking at Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek will be like 3% owned.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm serious. I mean, sometimes we got to go on spots that, you inspect this man. Tyreek Hill, I can say for the first time, he's at 70. He's almost at $7,300. And they had a bye week, right? They had a bye week. They're playing in the dome, and the Colts give up deep balls. They give up deep balls. I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying. This is the type of thing. I've been looking at this, and I've been staring at this, and they even brought us. His price went down from 5,600 to 5,100. I said,
Willie, you know what? Trevor mentioned it on the first look the other night. He mentioned Tyreek Hill being a good play. I think that King to Icon is smart with Mostert being a good anytime touchdown play, especially on FanDuel. All right. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I'm going to get sick. All right. Let's get to Las Vegas Raiders against the Rams. Willie, is Kyron Williams a must start? Is Brock Bowers a must start? Are there any other pieces in this game that are must starts?
I think for the first time this year, I think you can win on a 2 tight end slate.
I do too.
I think you can play Bowers and Kittles. That's who I like. I love Kittles, in that matchup against Kansas City. I think you could win on a 2 tight end slate in this game. And so I think Bowers is definitely in play for sure. He is definitely in play. And Man, Tucker looks so bad, man. I don't know about the rest of them, but I do know that Bowers is a guy that I have a man interest in the game. And I think if Kupp is right, because I think Kupp is going to be back this game, right? Is Kupp back this game?
Kupp should be back.
So that's not a bad little sack. I'm going to get away from Kyron Williams. I don't like that price at 8,100. He's a great play, but I think that with Kupp back, some of the pass uses that he have is not going to be there like he had it, and he's 8,100. I mean, I like guys. We'll talk about it later against the Commanders, who I think is a lock and running back for me. You're going against the Commanders. I like people.
But doesn't Kupp being back actually help Kyron?
I think I don't like the 8,100.
I don't like it either, but I think Kupp back helps Kyron.
I think I like Kupp. What is Kupp's price?
What is Kupp's price? Let me check. One moment, please. Please hold. Kupp is 7,900.
Oh hell no! Never mind. Excuse me. I stand corrected. I ain't paying no 7,900 for this bastard coming off an injury. I just thought I could get sneaky if it's 7,100. My gosh, they priced them up. Woo.
All right.
I mean, listen, Kyron Williams is in a great spot. He's in a great spot. But I just think because I'm going to have say if I'm playing Jefferson or if I'm playing I just can't get to Kyron Williams on this slate. And I think I like some backs that's $6,500. So that's why I'm not locking Kyron Williams. But he's in a great spot, outstanding spot.
Swame, talk to me here about this game. Talk to me about the Raiders side. Is Bowers a must? Zamir may or may not play. Madison is interesting. Heat's been talking about Trey Tucker, who I don't like this week because I don't like him against cover threes. I like him against man coverage. Talk to me about, do I need Bowers in this lineup?
Before I do that, Doc, please allow me to issue somewhat of apology to our fans what they just heard. I mean, I gotta say the views expressed by Willie Walls in this program are solely those of
Willie's brain,
and they do not necessarily reflect the views of this network, Dr. Roto, the staff, as a record label or crew. I'm not even really sure where that came from. Please forgive him. Anyway, Doc, as far as this game, I'll say that I wish you could reconsider Tucker. And here's why I say it. Because somebody has to be involved on the Raiders side for Williams, I think, to make sense. They got to push him a little bit. If not, we're going to be looking at Blake, right? We're going to be looking at somebody else come fourth quarter because Williams or the rest of this offense is not going to need to be out there if the Raiders aren't able to put up a fight. So I think Madison is somebody who could be interesting as well. He seems to find a way to get the double-digit fantasy points. At least I think 4 out of 5, 4 out of 6, something like that. He's been able to do it. I think Bowers, as you said, I think he's probably the more obvious play. But I think where you could take some chances at with this game is probably Tucker. I think you could even look at maybe a Turner. That's a little bit more of a chance. But I think you need to have some pieces of this game because of the value that you're getting on that Raider side. I think we could probably make that argument in a couple other games too. But that value there, if we can get somebody who's going to probably have a 35% target share at 42, and the other guys at 33.
He doesn't get a target share like that. I mean, this Tucker guy, man.
In this game, one of these guys are going to have to, unless you got Bowers getting it all, right? Somebody has to get 30%. So I like Tucker. That's the guy I'm going with this week, Doc. I do like Bowers, obviously, but from a wide receiver perspective, I like him and I like Madison. You asked about the Raiders side. They the guys I like.
I don't like Madison because I think what's his name is back this week. That's why I'm not on Madison.
He didn't ask you because I think Zamir White has been due.
Swami, is Kyron Williams, if you have 20 lineups, how many are you playing Kyron in?
I would play him with 20, maybe 10 or 12. I like Kyron a lot.
Yeah. My only thought was, like I said, Rams play a lot of zone coverage. Trey Tucker has not been used in zone. My sneaky guy of the week was actually DJ Turner. I just think at 3,400, no nobody's playing this dude. I'm going to get him at less than 1% owned. Maybe he does something crazy. So for me, it's going to be a Tillman or a Turner, somebody like that. Or you know what I always do, Swami? I place a prop bet on it. Maybe I don't play him in DFS, but if you like a guy a little bit, you throw some money down in a prop bet. All right, let's get to this next game here. Carolina and Washington. Hello, friends. 51.5. This just feels like if it's not Seattle, Atlanta, it's this game. And I feel like Daniels and Dalton are both in play. I feel like you could argue Eckler is in play. Chuba Hubbard, 100,000% in play. And then you've got Noah Brown, McLaurin, Ertz, Deontay Johnson not healthy, but you have Leggett. Willie, talk to me about this game. Is this the had-to-have-it game?
Now we're talking. This is the game that I'm interested in. Mr. Hubbard, 100%. 100% of my lineups. 100% of my lineups. I mean, listen, McLaurin is in play. You know, I mean, JD, listen, last week, and just like I told you, the Ravens were just too good in positions that the Commanders could not handle, you know, but he still didn't look bad. He still represented, you know, this guy is the real deal. Now, the interesting thing that the second running back, see, the interesting place, sometimes you got to look under where people are not looking at. This McNichols, who got no points last week, this could be the guy that could be the sneaky guy at 4,400 that could get 15 points that people are not looking at. The second running back, because you run on Carolina so much that they are the ones that in the play. But I got somebody for you that nobody's talking about, Doc, and this is what you didn't talk. The guy played 67 and 75% of the plays.
Noah Brown?
I love Noah Brown in this game. He had 9 targets. No, I'm talking about on the other side for Carolina. Jalen Coker. Jalen Coker at $3,000. You know, he's got 4 for 68 in his last 2 games and 3 for 30. I'm just telling you, you get in the end zone. I'm just telling you this is why when I told you that I had interest in playing, you know, and playing Jefferson, you know, in that lineup is this guy right here. I think Jalen Coker is a very interesting guy here. Dalton's in play. Hubbard's a lock. I mean, I'm going to have in this game, I will have at least 3 players in this lineup in this game. I'm going to have different stacks in this game. But
what if this game disappoints, Swami? Can this game disappoint? Is there any way this game disappoints?
No. Simple answer. And you know why? Because unlike Willie Walls, I seem to like Caroline. I like the Panthers a lot this week. I think Mr.
Who said unlike Willie Walls? I like Caroline. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but you were talking about coca. Only cocaine.
Sir, see, sir. Hey, Mr. Obvious. How are you, Mr. Obvious? I'm glad to see you. Just like I had the tight end last game that you poo-pooed on, who outscored that goddamn Ferguson. Every lineup that I had with that rascal, I did a lot better than when I had that Ferguson at 2,900. Thank you. I look under the rock, sir, for different plays. You're Mr. Safe. And 8,100, Kyron Williams.
Doc, we gotta get something where you can mute this guy. Is he gonna take his?
Man, I mean, Kyron Williams, 8,100. Give me something so you can look for somebody. I'm just telling you. This Jalen Coker guy is a man of interest, especially with Deontay hurt. I'm telling you, this guy.
Well, look, is Coker any different than DJ Turner or Cedric Tillman or any of these guys? They're all kind of like.
But the difference is that they're going to be behind, and they got a better quarterback, and their quarterback is not massage man, Deshaun Watson.
Let me tell you what the difference is, Doc. Because this guy said he likes to look underneath of a rock. Clearly, he likes to smoke it as well, and occasionally gets hit in his head with one. I tell you what. The difference is, Doc, we're talking about in an offense where somebody's 4th or 5th and where somebody's 2nd or 3rd. To me, that makes a big difference. If Chuba Hubbard, who you really like a lot, if Johnson is still healthy and is still playing, if Walls like Sanders as well, and then if there's still Leggett or Mingo involved, where does Cocaina come in? It only could.
Coker is past Mingo, just so you know, sir. He's played 75%. Excuse me, sir. Know what you're talking about. He's played 75%. He's a third receiver, and they're going to be behind. And nobody knows about this dude, and this dude can play. I'm just telling you, sir. He is in play in this game.
I hear you. Now, if you just want to go again, I'm gonna wait. Go again. Or you.
I'm just telling you because you like you're Mr. Safe. Oh, let's play Andy Dalton. God damn it! Look, play somebody. I mean, get some balls, sir. Get some balls and play some people in this game. I'm just telling you. So you could say, yeah, you could go to sleep all you want, but I'm just telling you, you won't be saying that after Jalen Coker have this game.
Doc, here's what happens. They got a saying, and
you're going to play Jalen Tucker. I tell you what, Coker will outscore Tucker. How about that? And he's 4,200. That's your guy. And my guy will be Coker. How about that?
They got a saying often in the military.
How about that?
A saying often in the military. They talk about this situation that used to happen in combat situations where somebody would take a match. They'd one guy light a cigarette. The second guy light a cigarette. The third guy gets hit by the sniper shot because the sniper had a chance to dial in by the time the light got to the third guy, right? And you'll hear these kind of things again. So I often talk to Walls about a guy he's never heard of before, gets 4 catches and 30 yards. Then he has 2 catches and 40 yards. And then he runs after him like he does every time. Running behind the car. Mm-hmm. And then that third time, we get a big fat goose egg. And that'll be cocaine.
Excuse me, sir. What did when I said Jalen Tucker, remember I went with Jalen Tucker, what did he do that game? That's what I went on Mr. Jalen Tucker. When I said this Saviors, I mean, what I'm telling you, sir, just listen to this. You got to look at trends going up. Listen, I'm telling you, this Coker guy is a man of interest. Just look for this guy.
Right, what is he
because the Commanders' defense is porous.
Got it. So what are you predicting? Just give us the prediction. What is he doing?
I think this is what I think for Mr. Jalen. I think he could give us 5 catches for 60 yards and a tutty at $3,000. At $3,000,
he should be locked in there.
At 3,000.
So Willie, if you're doing 20 lineups, how many are you having him in?
He's got to be.
He will be in at least 7.
At least 1. Sorry.
Right. 7 with them type of numbers, Doc. He is full.
Because anyway, I told you.
Right. Can we let Swame talk about this game? Swame, can we please talk about this game? Don't talk about Coker. Yeah. I don't even want to hear Coker's name.
Thank you. He took all the time. It's if Johnson is healthy, if he's playing, meaning if he is he should be in there. Johnson, Hubbard, and Dalton. That might be my stack, Doc, for the week. I'm giving you a sneak peek coming back with McLaurin, and I might even do one of those danger moves where you come back with Robinson and McLaurin, where you almost go full willy-nilly with this one. That's how much.
If Brian Robinson plays Swami, can you play Jaden Daniels?
I think I would like him less because of his price. If Robinson's in there, because it's almost certain that Robinson's going to run it in the red zone. So then I will probably not want to have Daniels if he's in there. But if he's not in there, then Daniels moves up to almost being one of them guys you got to have.
He's playing. He's playing, though. Robinson's playing.
I think Robinson is playing. That's my only fear slightly with Daniels. But I think you may be right on the Dalton part. If the only way that Dalton hurts us, in my opinion, is if this game gets out of whack. If Washington is up and it's, let's say, 30-10 in the fourth quarter, I'm pulling Andy Dalton and I'm playing Bryce Young.
Yeah, but it's not. Andy Dalton is better than the Washington defense. And as far as those other.
Without Jonathan Allen.
Yes. And as far as those other pieces, I would stick with, I would say McLaurin. I would stick with Hubbard. I would stick with Robinson. I wouldn't try to get too crazy with some of those other pieces, those Damies and those Zacchaeus, and I wouldn't go.
I think it's Brown and McLaurin. All right, 2 more games for us, guys. Let's talk about Kansas City and San Francisco. I know, Swami, that Willie mentioned George Kittle. Feels like a lot, almost a lock button. Kansas City has been atrocious against tight ends. But what about Debo? What about Ayuk? What about Jordan Mason? On the other side, is Kareem Hunt in play? Kelsey, or is just Mahomes going to dink and dunk up and down the field and bother us and really not do anything? What do you think?
It's a very interesting game. First, Mahomes has had a little bit of success against San Francisco. So it's depending on how they're going to come out. So a couple of things that we didn't talk about in this game, and this is assuming that somebody like Smith-Schuster is healthy. He's only 4,000. You figure Mecole is around and he's 3,300. So we're talking about value. It should be some value somewhere in Kansas City because somebody's got to play if you think Mahomes is going to do something. Obviously, Kelsey has been probably the rock in that offense. He'll continue to be that. We'll know they'll probably try to get Hunt involved, but it's tough to run against San Francisco. So you feel like this is the short passing game if they're going to be involved in the game. And if they're able to come out and get it going, and I'm talking about San Francisco early, and they're probably playing from behind, meaning the Chiefs, then I feel like that's where we could get some fantasy goodness. But I don't know. And even a statement about Kittle, I kind of looked at it. You figure lightly, he got hit all of his on like a broken play. Gesicki's probably had the best game of any tight end this year. Pitts only 7.9. Disley didn't do much. And last week, Johnson only had 8 points. So it's not like they're going crazy against Kansas City. I do like Debo. I don't know how much else. I would probably avoid this game, Doc. If I went with anybody, maybe Mecole at 33 and then maybe a Kelsey, but I wouldn't want to spend that money on a hope and a prayer.
Willie, are you locked in Kittle 100%?
I'm going to have a lot of Kittle. I love Kittle in this matchup. I think Kittle is in a great spot. I think that, honestly, I don't know about Schuster. This would be a game where Watson would do something, because they almost had that. I mean, Schuster, he had 67%. He was in there 65% of the time. He had one of those games. But I won't be chasing, Schuster back in this game. The guy that I'm interested in, like I said, I'm interested in the tight ends in this game, but especially Kittle. I like Kittle a lot in this slate. And I just think for the first time on this slate, I think, it will be a two tight end. It could be a two tight end slate on this slate. I like the two tight ends on this slate, for this slate.
Just want to point out 2 fantasy points and about 7 fantasy points. That's 2 of Kittle's last 3 games.
Yeah, but when Kittle goes off, Swame, he could go 4 for 60 and 2 touchdowns. He could give you the game you had to have.
Yeah, but that's assuming a couple of things. One, when they could run the ball, Kansas City's probably doing a little bit better there. This game could be more of a scrap. This game,
I don't think
Bowers is going to be 15% rostered, and Kittle's going to be 3%. So maybe I'm getting the advantage there.
Yeah, but Kittle's is coming off of 3 good games. That's the reason why. Again, when you see Walls chasing somebody,
no, I'm not chasing. I've been playing Kittle. First of all, Kansas City is one of the worst teams against the tight end. That's how you beat them.
So what tight end has gone off against them? You can't name one because one hasn't had.
Likely
week 1.
Everybody's gone off against Kansas City.
A busted play, likely. That's it, Doc.
So come on, you just said this busted play. That's how you do Kansas City.
Doc, you got them. Y'all saw they played New Orleans, right?
Yeah, they played New Orleans. Come on, man, shut your mouth up. Shut your mouth up. They played New Orleans.
Hold on,
who got a decimated line? You got one of the best play callers. They got one of the better offensive lines and one of the best play callers in the game. Look at that wiggle waggle. And Kittles will be getting open this game.
That's
how you beat Kansas City.
Disley, Pitts, Gesicki.
Who is Disley?
All right, first of all, Disley stinks. Juwan Johnson stinks.
Come on.
Gesicki was good and likely are good. So 2 good players went off. Bad players don't.
Come on. You want to talk about
Listen. You can't look at DVP in that kind of way. Because what happens is Will Disley, 8 points for Will Disley is like 18 for somebody else. Because he's terrible.
Compare Disley to Kittles? Are you kidding me? The play caller, Kittles is a great tight end, man. And you got one of the best play callers in the game in Shanahan. Are you kidding me? Come on.
Look, Swami, when I first started watching DVP, it was easy to say, but you got to look at it was like the Saints, right? The Saints were really good against tight ends until they played Goddard. But the first 2 tight ends they played stunk. So I'm not saying you're off. I'm saying it's going to be better than you think.
Doc, I'm the guy who always looks inside the number. So let's just talk about likely for just a second. What likely because
he's smoking something.
Because I watched the game twice.
I said he's smoking something.
Likely had one broken play where Lamar got outside the pocket, threw it up, likely caught the.
Right, but he had 11 catches that game.
Yeah, he caught the ball. Yeah, he no, and
11 times.
And nobody else had anything, right? Because he was the second wide.
And what about that touchdown that
So did you cut him off?
I wish. I'm glad he's breaking up there so he can finally be quiet because he's been talking the whole just ranting, talking about nothing. I'm glad. Thank you, Comcast or Boost Mobile, knowing him. Way to shut this guy up.
Oh no, I'm there. I'm here.
So just I said, Doc, because I watched the game and I saw how he got it, and I saw how that game flow went. And if the tight end is happening, it's happening. If it's not happening, it's not happening. We go inside these numbers every week. Walls like to brush it off and go past it every week. So it's easy to just make these wild statements, and then when it don't go right, just brush it under the rug and don't mention it again. We'll bring this back up again. I promise you guys, no, it's not going to happen.
The point is we're supposed to forget about it before next week. Okay. Let's talk about the Sunday night game that applies to FanDuel only, Jets against the Steelers. Anybody, Breece Hall, Pickens, Swame, anybody? I'm going to pass on this game.
Doc, because it's the late game, we know Walls is in love with it, and he's going to find some way to take this frog and try to turn it into a princess because that's what he do every late game. Right? He's going to tell you something. So I'm going to try to beat him to the punch. He's going to try to talk you into Russell Wilson, his first game back. He's going to try to talk you into Pickens, and he's going to tell you how Devontae Adams and his debut, how he lit them up the last time he played it, and he's going to have a bunch of that just because they're going late. But other than that, he would just be flat out ranting and making up and throwing out what I call wags, Doc. Wags are just wild ass guesses. And I'm going to leave it to him because he's the late game guru.
All right, late game guru.
I think the running back for Pittsburgh is very interesting in this game. The Jets.
Najee or Jalen Warren?
No, Najee. I think Najee is very interesting in this game because the Jets run defense is horrendous. They are bad. They are bad. If you looked at that Buffalo game, and you saw what they've been giving. Did you watch the game? Doc? Did you see the game?
Ray Davis is still running. Are
you kidding me?
They couldn't stop him.
They could not stop him. I think he's about now. No, you don't play. You don't play Pickett. It's a terrible matchup going against the Jets corners. I would not play Pickett, but I do think that the running back is in play. I do.
All right, let's get to the favorite stack, Swame. Who is the Swame stack? $100. Where's it going?
Doc, I kind of already tipped my hand talking about Mr. Andy Dalton. So I'm going to leave that one out there. And here's the one I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with my favorite cousin. No, it's not Mike Reed. No, it's not Jerome Richardson. No. It is Kirk Cousins, my guy. And I want him with Drake London and maybe, just maybe, Mr. Mooney and coming back with Metcalf. That's what I'm giving you this week for my $100.
I like it.
Go ahead, Mr. Chalk.
All right, Mr. Willie Walls, what's the stack?
Oh, I like this. This is going to be in my $100 lineup. I like the two big receivers. I like the Minnesota receiver and the Detroit receiver. They got 62 and 68 points. If they both go for 35 points, try to make that up with anybody else in the slate. And you got plenty of value in there. So that's what I like. But I also like.
Are you letting them do that, Doc? Is that a
We'll call that a game. We'll call that a game stack.
No, it's not a game stack. Two people. Two people. Two peoples. Too many people.
It's a correlated play. Yeah, it does violate the rules because Swami is giving you a team stack.
Okay. So since you want to be
Tyler
that way.
Huntley, Tyreek Hill, and
hey, listen. That's what it's going to be. I'm telling you. Huntley. Now, I can't do that in the $100 lineup. No, hell no. I can't do that in the $100 lineup. Not only no, but hell no. But man. God, no.
Listen, just take your time. No rush.
My stack would be JD. It will be Hubbard. It'll be McLaurin, and it'll be Mr. Brown. That's what I like. I like Hubbard. I like the double stack of JD and McLaurin. I like Mr. McLaurin. They've been giving up to all the number one receivers. Yeah, that's how you are, Mr. Chalk. You are the talk of the talk.
All right, I'll give you two. One for me makes sense. It's the Geno Smith, Kenneth Walker, DK Metcalf, where I think I get all the touchdowns there. The other one, I just want to do a Sam Darnold, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, because I got to figure the Lions were so good last week. How do they perform without Aiden Hutchinson? I mean, that's like losing, I don't want to say Michael Jordan, but it's kind of like losing Scottie Pippen.
You can't replace him, though.
Can't replace that. You cannot replace what he does. You could replace anybody else on that defense but him.
Right. He's their TJ Watt. You take him out, it's
over. So that's why I think the Vikings have to be played. All right. Balls to the walls call from Willie Walls. Is it your boy Jalen Cokie Coker?
Yes, it is. That's one. And the second one is going
to be doing some coke while you were playing Coker?
Tyler Ass Milk Huntley. Huntley will show up today. He will show up, and he's going to throw a deep one to Tyreek Hill is going to make an appearance again. He's going to get in the end zone for over a 60-yard bomb.
All right, Swame says,
Doc, he has to be stopped. Clearly, he's a madman. Doc, he has to be drug tested or something. It's people that they're vulnerable. It is literally people who are looking at this and going, I have to listen because this is the great Willie Walls. Doc, this is pure milk. I'm talking about milk
of the
Doc. All right, I'm going to give you two guys, Doc. Here they go. Trey Tucker and Jerry Jeudy. Balls to the walls.
All right.
Swami says.
Okay. I'm going to give you, I said DJ Turner.
Yeah.
And here's a guy that literally nobody knows. I don't even know if his mom knows this guy. He's talking about Cedric Tillman. I have no problem with that. Jamari Thrash. Dude played at Louisville. Somebody's got to have to emerge there. Somebody's got to emerge in Cleveland. Whether it's Judy, Elijah Moore, Tillman, or Thrash, keep your eyes open. One of those guys is going to score a touchdown. Maybe it's Thrash, but I do like DJ Turner a little bit. And if you want to play that early game, I like Kayshon Boutte. I just like saying his name, by the way. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are we done?
Yeah, clearly, Doc, somebody has to get to a testing center.
If Huntley throws it to a 50-yard bomb to Tyreek, we're never going to hear the end of this.
Oh, you're not. You're not.
I hope if Coker scores, we're never going to hear it.
But that's putting your balls on the table. You talk about a guy that has not done anything. I'm taking on a bye week going against the Colts. What do the Colts do? Give up the deep ball.
What's amazing is how he tried to make crazy sound like it makes sense, like it's a badge of honor, courage. No, it's just goofy.
No, it's not goofy. You thought Tavian was goofy. He outscored that damn Ferguson. I don't even want to hear your stuff is goofy, sir. You're
like
goofy.
He's arguing both of his
you might as well go on a goddamn chalkboard. Go on the chalkboard, chalk man. I'm gonna call you chalk.
Doc.
Your middle name is the Great Chalk Swami because you're chalk. You don't take no damn chances.
He said Sanders was better than Ferguson. They were both his plays. He's arguing.
No. Hey, what's his name had 10 points at minimum price? He did his job.
All right, can't find entertainment like this anywhere else. All right, for the great Swami Willie Walls, it's Dr. Roto saying be well and
take care.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.
I want to see
All right,
the
guys.
Tyler Huntley